Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone, one of the biggest franchise games to date. It has sold over 30 million copies worldwide. When you first load up into the game, you have 3 game modes you can choose from. You have Campaign, Multiplayer, or Warzone. In today's video, we're going to cover Campaign and Multiplayer. Beginning with the Campaign, it follows a CIA officer and a British SAS forces as they team up with rebels from the fictional country of Urzikstan, combating together against Russian forces who have invaded the country. Then if we switch to multiplayer, we have a ground combat experience with fast-paced actions with loads of customization and replayability. The first game mode we're going to talk about in today's video is the campaign first. In this deep story-driven campaign, this whole story narrative starts with our main character, Kyle Gass. And in one of the missions, we have a dark theme to it, where it starts off being very cinematic, and you can eventually play as the character.
We'll handle it. Let's get it done, yeah?
When you're first starting to play the game, the overall feel and atmosphere is very dynamic and constantly changing, and very intimidating.
Get your hands up! Not gonna tell you again!
But as you can see, it takes a dark turn of events, and the car explodes. You quickly have to aim at the people and shoot them, and save as many people as you can. The game does have its flaws sometimes of not being not that tactically important in some areas, like in this mission, where you have to obviously follow that linear campaign where they tell you what to do. This game is very tactical in some points because you have to pay attention to detail, and if you're not paying attention, well, you will obviously die. But I have to give the game a little bit of credit because I love its run and gun style where you have to shoot and just play. But it still follows, the great thing about this campaign, it still follows its story narrative standpoint by constantly giving players updates of what's going on while you're playing the game. There are some missions where you constantly change characters between Farah, Alex, Hadia, or the main character being Kyle Gass. But in this mission, I'm playing as Alex. As I'm playing throughout the campaign, I really enjoy noticing the small details, where you can pick up things, miscellaneous things that are not actually driven by the campaign, that can help aid through, you know, just story, or it's just side missions that you can look at and review in the main menu. But besides that, I just love the overall feel of the campaign. The campaign has such a driven story to it that actually keeps me emotionally engaged and actually physically engaged too. In some moments, like in this scene, I have to conceal my weapon. I'm intentionally disguising as a civilian, so the antagonist Barkov doesn't, his forces don't find me, because if they do, I would obviously fail and, you know, potentially lose the game. But me being the protagonist I am obviously disguising as one of the civilians and being in a forced labor camp. Continuing on in the campaign, there's one mission that in particularly is very controversial to some people when playing this game. But in my own standpoint of it, this is one of my favorite missions in the campaign. I love this mission. It has great narrative. It has great gameplay. It makes you feel that you're actually in the game and that you're attacking or liberating essentially this house. So you are actually playing as Kyle Gass in this mission, and what you need to do, you need to take out the civilians in the house and try capturing them or shooting them. But it's one of my favorite missions because it actually makes me feel like I'm there. I'm actually there in the campaign, and I'm just along with this mission with Captain Price to the right of me right here. And so just going through the campaign right now. It's called Operation Clean House. Playing as Kyle Garrick, and when I'm entering, I can see, you know, the mood, the tone, and especially the setting is very intense at the beginning because you're preparing to enter this house with all your teammates, all your men, and when you enter it, it's just very intimidating at first because you don't know what's in there. You have to be very cautious all the time. Just how a real, I guess, liberation in real life would be. I really love a game that has dark and light environments that you have to rely on it. So in this mission, you can actually use your night goggles, and when you use your night goggles, you can well, obviously you can see in the dark, but I just love games that really emphasize on lighting in the environment that you intentionally really have to pay attention to, or you can, you know, get shot to death. This mission especially is very controversial because it could really offend some people in some aspects because of how realistic it could be or unrealistic it is sometimes, because I know I've seen videos in the past where military men actually reviewed this game and they said it was somewhat realistic but very emphasized in the aggressiveness and the loud noises that were really unintentional and not really, you know, realistic. So I can see how they can get offended with that, but overall, the overall feel when you're going through this clean house campaign mission, it just feels great, man. I mean, obviously I've never been in the military before, so I don't know if this is actually realistic or not. But if you're coming from a standpoint of being in the military, then yeah, I can see how this could be really realistic towards you, or unrealistic. It could offend you in some aspects because the game really exaggerates its outcome of war sometimes. Therefore, I think this campaign is awesome. When it comes to the story aspect, it could be kind of bland sometimes, but you know, the story actually gives you options. There's that butterfly effect where if you choose this option, then the outcome would be different if you didn't choose that option you chose before. I mean, you know, in general, this campaign just really puts an emotional toll on you if you really dive deep in the characters' backstory. But the campaign doesn't really emphasize it. What the campaign emphasizes on is overall gameplay and making you feel like you're in the game. It doesn't really have that emotional toll. I feel like it just puts you into the campaign, you know, physically. It makes you actually believe that you're in there. That's what I love about this campaign. There's people that say it's a little overwhelming in length and story-wise, but I think it's still satisfying with some cool characters and fan services. We get to see some fan favorite characters like Kyle Gass come back. But overall, it's a great combat action. Scenarios is really great. Like, the return of the campaign is amazing because in the previous game, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, it did not have a campaign. It was not story driven at all. I mean, there's nothing. It was just zombies and multiplayer. Now we're gonna jump into the multiplayer. We're gonna talk about the customization. There's a wide variety of customization in the multiplayer of Call of Duty, and in this game especially, there's a new system where you can actually customize a weapon called the Gunsmith. The Gunsmith, it's a wide variety of unique customizations that personally I love, and my first impression was it was really confusing at first, but as I started playing the game, it got a little bit more understanding. But the thing I love about it is that you can have just a variety of customizations. Like if we begin with the barrel, there's different types of barrels you can put on. There's the 8.1 compact barrel, which personally I use. It's because it's good for speed and agility. And the other thing about this Gunsmith is that it really specifies on a player's type. of playstyle. I'm a more aggressive type of player when it comes to multiplayer, so I like this kind of barrel specifically because the pros is aim down sight speed, which is aiming your gun, how fast you can aim the gun. There's a plus in that, so you can aim down your gun a lot faster, and the movement speed is really good for me because the agility of this AK will be really fast with me, so I can just get straight into the action, kill as many people as possible. But obviously with this gunsmith, there's a lot of cons that comes with the bullet velocity, recoil control, as you can see here in the 8.1 compact barrel. It's not that good, but that's that trade-off that you would find in this new gunsmith. And obviously there's a lot more stuff that you can put on, like the laser, the 5 milliwatt laser. It's good for sprint to fire speed, which is when you're sprinting, you stop and aim. That pro of that is that it's a lot faster. Obviously with my playstyle it's more aggressive, so that's what I would like, because so I can just shoot as many people as fast as possible, so I can just drop them dead as fast as possible. And then the muzzle, it's the monolithic suppressor. I'm more of a sneaky and aggressive person, so the pros of this is obviously just a sound suppression and the damage range increases, but the cons is the aim down sight speed, which is not good, but at the end of the day it's really good for me because I can get into those close quarter fights really easily and fast and take down my enemies as fast as possible, because they will not hear me. Like if their teammates are trying to find me because of I just killed their teammate, they wouldn't find me because of the monolithic suppressor. And then the underbarrel, the AK in general, it's really, like, the recoil is really high, so I need an underbarrel called the Ranger foregrip. The pros of it is the recoil control, the aiming stability. That's really good for the AK because of obviously its recoil. So when I'm getting into a fight, I need good recoil because I need fast reaction times to quickly kill the enemy. And then the ammunition, it's a 5.45 times 39mm, 30 round max. The pros of this, the fire rate and the recoil control. The fire rate is really good for me, so I can easily kill as many people as fast as possible. I can just continue getting those high kill feeds and just killing as many people as possible, obviously. And then, yeah, this is the class setup I'm going to be using in the gameplay I'm going to be showing you in a second. And starting with the gameplay is really smooth. I love the gameplay in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It's really tactical when you're playing it, and to kill enemies is very fast compared to old Call of Duty games. It's really slow, but overall I love the feel of it. The slide like this right now. The time to kill, love it. Obviously I'm using the AK that I was showcasing earlier, but the thing is that you can be really tactical to the point where you can easily mount your weapons on places to make yourself more accurate if you want to be. And also when you're trying to kill enemies, it's a lot easier since you have that good edge against them. Since you're mounting like this, way more accurate. Alright, here we go. We're just gonna jump into some gameplay of how multiplayer actually works. This is just me playing just raw gameplay of me using the AK. Yeah, I love the AK. The AK, one of my favorite weapons, really fun to use. And it's just like multiplayer. There's been numerous complaints of the multiplayer because the maps are not as well as past Call of Duties, but people just they just have to adapt to it. That's what I had to do in this Call of Duty. When I first started playing this Call of Duty, it was really hard for me, especially because of how different and more tactical it can be. Because of, you know, as I said earlier, mounting, there's a lot more camping, and I mean, I guess it can be there's tactical sprint like this where you can easily run, but there's also that trade-off where you are a lot louder in game mode domination. Very good game mode, just play casually. Domination is basically a mode where There's 3 flags in the enemy spawn, in our spawn, and in the middle spawn. In the middle, not the middle spawn. The middle of the map. And you're just trying to kill as many people, capture as many flags as you
We
get.
are just beginning.
Multiplayer feels really good. It's great multiplayer to play with friends, by yourself. If you're just being aggressive like me sometimes. It's a lot more tactical with the mounting, with the leaning, and sliding especially. And especially with the tactical sprint that you can use like this right now. But I say this year's Call of Duty really good because it just allowed people to adapt to a new change of Call of Duty. Just get an overall feel of how the years to come Call of Duties are gonna change. Call of Duty Modern Warfare was such a great game. When I first played it, especially with the campaign, it made me feel like I was actually in the campaign. There wasn't that emotional toll, like I said earlier, on me, but overall, the setting, the overall theme of it, the plot, amazing. I loved it so much. Next, in the multiplayer, there's a lot of tactical movement with the sprinting, the tactical sprint, mounting on walls, and outstanding customizations with the gunsmith. I love that about the multiplayer. This was a whole new game, bringing a wide genre of customizations of guns. The gunsmith, I love it. The pros and cons system in the gunsmith was outstanding to me. It added way more variety of how you play as a player and what your favorite gun is to use. And I just loved that about Modern Warfare.
The rules of engagement have changed.
Stand clear!
All stations on my mark. 3, 2, 1. Going dark.
Go, go, go!
What's the plan? Shock and awe.
That'll get their attention.
This is crazy.
Get down!
Yeah, but we're a little crazy, aren't we?
Just take the gloves off and fight.
We gotta move now.
You wanted the gloves off? They're off.
Pre-order Call of Duty Modern Warfare